Welcome, everybody. Mondays with Hedy. This is the week where I learned that I don't have to slump. All I have to do is to think of Marcia Graber when I used to sit in the back of her during senior center exercises and try to sit like she did. And I'm going to do that right now. Marcia, I'm doing it. Okay? Hedy, do not slump.
Julie Williams says, hi, dear Hedy and Joni. Eileen Cutler says, hello. William Milon says, hi, Hedy.
Hi. I do want to say that I have such an excuse for slumping because for 93 years I have been sitting like this, painting. Never like this, because I'm not left-handed, but like this, bent. Because I can't stand on my feet long enough to work standing. My arm would shake. So, as the years go by, because I do want to live long, stop me if I slump, okay? Now here's what I did. This has been a week of learning. And I had asked Kenny to put that on my Facebook page. And that's what we'll talk about today. My week of learning. Things have been shaking and falling into different slots in my mind for many years. And suddenly, now, grouping themselves into newly emerging folders and free-floating thoughts and changing my ways of how I see in my daily life. I want to share them with you. They began to open up a new door in my mind. And please add thoughts, if you have similar thoughts, from the ones which you have carried up to now. With me it began when Greg has been working with the city of Long Beach in doing programs, and that I've gone with him. And the last one was about Medicare, Medicaid, all the things that all of us are bombarded with, and the answers that he gave. And during that time, I realized how much I've missed by not having been able to go to the senior citizen programs since the pandemic began, because I didn't want to be with people whom I could infect or could affect me. Now I have all my shots, and if there are more shots coming up, I'll take them all, and I feel relatively safe. And I went back with Greg last Wednesday, and it was like coming home. And one of the people I met, whom I've known for years but had missed, is Carol Schwartz. And she said, Hedy, I'll drive you. Whenever you need something, let me know and I'll drive you. But I cannot take if I can't give. It's like one of the laws of nature. If you are a taker, you don't belong, because the earth needs givers, and from it, it creates other givers. But if only takers come, there's nothing to forward. As Dory said to me, it's like we put money into a bank account and then we can withdraw. But if we never put money into the bank account, there's nothing to withdraw. And we see that every day when we meet givers and takers. And so when Carol Schwartz said, I'll drive you. Wherever you want to go, I'll drive you. I said, no, Carol, you have to let me do something for you. What if I give you art classes? And she said, I don't know how to draw anything. And I said, that's okay, then I'll teach you. And we decided, and she began, I put her in front of a mirror, as I did when I gave art classes. And I said, do any part of yourself, no copying, look at what you see in front of you, try to draw it, and I'll teach you how to do it. And she was right, she couldn't. And I began to think, maybe I'm saying it wrong. Maybe we don't need to learn how to draw. We need to learn how to see. And I said, Carol, think of this. Your eye, it's a round ball. And if you go to an eye doctor, they have a machine. And they look. Wait, I don't need this now. Let me move it. Can you see better? Okay. I did the reading, okay.
Meredith Romer is watching, Paula Lakshan is watching, and Carol Hodkin is watching.
I love all three of them. Okay, and know them so well. And I said, do you realize the miracle that there is a ball which is like what we're now discovering the galaxies are? We're finding out that planets are not a planet. They're billions contained in a galaxy. Actually, look at your eyeball and realize that it's a miracle. Because how could your body take a whole village if you're on a mountaintop and create a picture of it that you can see if you are on the mountaintop? And yet if you go like this, you can hide it completely if you've got a big enough hand. And I thought, what if I teach people not how to see, but how to feel? How to see things not as lines and shadows, but how do you feel? And after that, I have 2 boxes of photographs, which I've been going through, because John in California is doing a documentary of my work, and needing photographs. And as I picked up each photograph, I thought, what an awesome miracle that with that little box, which contains so many wires and things in the atmosphere, which I cannot see, together they pick up a world of my past and put it on a piece of paper or in my iPad. A miracle of when Jessie was a baby. A miracle of my mother and father and of Eric, who are not on this earth anymore. But they are. They're in this picture. And the James Webb telescope is picking up from billions of years ago a dead planet and showing it to me. And what if I begin to see the world not as lines and shadows, which I see when I look at your face because I'm drawing it? What if I get rid of that vision and just see the miracle. And then last Friday, my friend came and she said that Eric and her husband, both of whom knew each other well and passed away, they're not gone because nature does not, how can I say it so that you'll know what I'm saying? Because words don't work. But nature does not get rid of anything. It transforms it. I will become dust, and that dust will be in the atmosphere. And healthy parts of me will know. I once tried to give, when I was in my 80s, Eric and I tried to give our organs when we're gone. And they were refused because they were too old. And I thought that was a blow. In other words, my eyes are not valuable to you anymore. But my thinking is, I would like your thoughts on that. Because when this friend came on that Friday afternoon, and she said, but Eric didn't end, because nothing ends, it gets transformed. It's the spirit that lives forever. And I knew she was right, because there are times when you feel so close. There are times when my mother and father feel so close. There are times when Richie who smiled, is still smiling with me.
Julie Williams said, I feel the same way about photos. Miraculous. They allow time travel. It's hard to imagine the world before photography existed. And Eileen Cutler said, I agree about transformation. Our spirits will be forever connected. And Hernan is watching, Hernan Poza, and Michelle Kaushka, and Ed Weidman. And John Tarasco says, hugs from California.
Okay. Hedy and Hernan, I'm going to be approaching you about something, because I was on the boardwalk the other day, and the sun was shining, and I thought, I have never painted what I feel on the boardwalk, because I was looking at these hundreds of people walking, thin, fat, old, young, wearing all kinds of garments. And I thought, you see, when I met, okay, I need to say names. When I met Kent, without knowing I met him, from Sweden, when he saw me when I was painting the plaza, and I was like this, it was a moment of my ecstasy, because I suddenly realized if I put a branch of a tree that was there on this side, it'll balance. And he caught that moment. And eventually he sent it to a magazine from Facebook, and Eileen and Paula saw it, and they sent it to Hedy Weidman, who belongs to a lot of these magazines. And they found me. And a few weeks ago, Kent came from Sweden. And he's going to be in my next painting with his wife and his 2 kids and his friend Lars. And I thought, what magic connects us? And I would like all of you to realize that everything you see is magic because a machine created it. I am warm in the house on a cold day because of machines. I am air conditioned on a hot day because of machines. Machines. A human brain invented them. So what I decided to do, I'm going to see the magic in everything. I will stop looking for how the angle of this meets where to give a resemblance. I'll do that too, because I love getting a resemblance. But my job has always been, how do I capture your spirit? And so, Carol, when you come back for the next art class, we're going to talk about magic. Seeing the magic in everything and being aware when you draw the eye that it is protected by a bone structure. And eyebrows cover that bone. And that somehow everything about me, even though I am now 93 and I do not like the way I look, on the other hand, those wrinkles are because the skin is not 18 anymore. And I said to my podiatrist, I said, I want to walk gracefully. How can I walk gracefully again? And he said, you're never going to be an 18-year-old woman again. Just be aware how wonderful that your body allows itself to age. It's true. Now I'm done talking, and Kenny and I had decided, because there aren't many paintings left that I can talk about, we're just going to show you drawings. And I want to begin with the miracle of how a body expresses itself. These are the ones which, through Harvey Wiesenberg and through the Russo family, and above all, to the beginnings, when somebody wrote a letter to Newsday and said, I have a son who cannot walk. I need volunteers. And I wrote back and I said, my children are home for the summer. Can I bring them? And it began my beginning of working of people who are special, special in their needs, but special in their creativity. I'll never forget when Craig Savitz was supposed to move his tongue. The muscles in his tongue did not move. And one day when I came there, his mother Ellie said, we discovered peanut butter. And they would put peanut butter into his mouth, and he licked it, and he licked it, and his tongue moved. I would like to speak to you of magic.
So Janine Schultz is watching, and Julie said, I consider myself an agnostic, but I mostly do not believe in the supernatural, but I have definitely felt my dad's presence and spirit very strongly at various times since he passed. There are forces we don't understand. I embrace the mystery.
And maybe part of them are the reason why you and I formed such a deep relationship. Maybe we knew that we were supposed to meet. Want to show the next picture?
Mm-hmm.
It's also with the same subject. Joni, can you show the other side first?
Sure.
You see, the body feels with us. When I was doing the people who have special needs, we all need to be hugged and held. I didn't know it until the pandemic struck. What I missed was meeting a person and holding them and being held. And it was when the pandemic lifted and when I had all my shots that I could go up to friends and say, I need to hold you and I need to be held. Turn it around and see what grief is. I showed this young person when her body said what it needed. It needed to be held. But it needed to be held and loved. Okay? And when we have to stop, we'll stop. But if there are any comments, I need the comments. I have a lot of minutes left. Oh, great. That's steps which lead to the unknown, people who will open the door for us. Actually, it was a house upstate, and it just looked as if I needed to step on it and walk up. Okay? Some steps say come, and some say no. How can you explain a dog? A dog knows loving. It is always there to be patted. It reaches its head. And when it sleeps, it goes into a circle.
Julie says, I love your drawings. Wow. And Eileen says, I just love these drawings so much, everything about them.
You know, I have to give that credit to Kenny, because he said, Mom, there's a limit to showing paintings, because the only reason the paintings exist is because you've spent your life drawing. Start showing the drawings. And I listened. Joni, you know these dogs so intimately. Speak about.
Well, Flicka was the German Shepherd that we had when we were in Pine Bush, when I was in kindergarten. And she had been abused and would sneak up behind you and bite you.
Yes.
And Rusty, who had not been abused, who was the other German Shepherd, would look you in the eye and bite you. And I just remember, that I would, when I felt my parents had treated me unfairly, I would curl up with the dogs and they would soothe me. So, comments from Carol Hodkin. I too have felt the presence of those close to me who are no longer in my physical world. And Claire Wasser said, "Hi Hedy, beautiful work. So good to see it and you. Love to the whole family." And Julie says that there's an artist online who sits across from people on the subways and sketches them while they look down at their books or phones. Then he presents his drawings to them. So great to see their reactions. I will have to send you the link to the site.
I'd love it, thank you. I want all of us to give the future world images either by writing or speaking, and let the future know that we exist. Because each of us contributes to the universe.
Julie Williams says, "I remember so many stories of your family dogs. Didn't you have a Great Dane too?" I think we had 4. And Dad said that the home is not a home unless you have a dog. And Mom was not raised that way. And when they got serious, he gave her a dog.
Yes, yes.
William Milan says, "Hedy, I was thinking earlier about how our people have become a throwaway society. Your message of transformation is so timely. We've reached a point where we throw out vessels that are half full without giving it a thought. The concept of transformation helps us clarify the magnitude of our gifts and instills hope. Thank you, Hedy, for your words of wisdom."
Kenny and I speak to my children, Joni and Kenny, every night. And Kenny, who's a psychotherapist, always makes me speak of my inner mentor, and he tells me his. An inner mentor is that part of us which says what we are supposed to do, but we haven't done it yet. And we remind each other what we still have to do. And my inner mentor, I spoke to Kenny about tonight, and I said, "Do I dare say the things which are not average, but which lie in me? Would people understand?" And he said, "Yes, you must." And I said, "But then I'll be sentimental in a way that a lot of people will not understand." And he said, "We all carry it. Do it. Maybe it'll allow people to open up the way their inner mentor says. Don't shut the world out."
Julie Williams remembered Eric as the dog lover.
Yes. Yes.
I remember that when I was in middle school, they had been cleaning the roof and they threw some half-grown pigeons off the roof, and I brought them home, and Dad mouth-fed them because he'd loved animals and
Yes.
he'd raised birds, and he got egg yolk and fed them with his mouth on their beaks. So he was an animal lover, and he taught us to be the same.
Yes. Because something in animals allows them to express what we humans are embarrassed to do.
I also think that dogs live in joy, that they're in the moment, and that it's really inspiring.
What Joni said, well, Joni has always had dogs, but dogs, little ones, so that she could carry them wherever she went. Joni just showed me the time is nearly up. I love you all. And I have something lovely to tell you, though. John Taracuso just sent me a message that the film he's doing is nearly done. He's doing a film of my work, but in a way he understood what I was trying to do. And so he ended up saying that even though he's interested in the work I did at the plaza and at the stock exchange, it's really the Lower East Side that he's zeroing in on. And that film is going to exist very soon. And as a wonderful friend of mine, Linda, said, why the Lower East Side? What is it in the Lower East Side? You've painted in so many places. Why couldn't you leave there? Why did you do about 41 paintings and countless drawings? And I'm still trying to find it out. I think it is because the Lower East Side was approachable for me. When Joni drove me into the city the first time to draw, and she said, Mom, where shall I go? And we were on the Williamsburg Bridge. And as she drove down, and I saw the corner at the bottom of Orchard and Delancey, I said, pull in over here. And I once asked John Taracuso, who's doing the film, what is a muse? M-U-S-E. And he said, maybe it is when Joni asked you, where do I pull in? And you said, right over here.
So, 3 last messages. Yola Pitakis says, love you, Hedy. Julie Williams said, love you both. Joni, we hope the Fortune Gala was a big success, and it was. Joe Tripp said, sorry I couldn't join. Andy and I are handing out candy to 600 trick-or-treaters at our friend's home in Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts. And Marcia Blaze Swatkowski is watching.
Thank you all. And Joni brought ice cream, and as I eat it right after this broadcast, take something that you love and eat it. I love you all. Bye-bye.